Thank you for tuning in today to another obscure career specifically focused on commercial real estate careers. I'm so excited to bring to you Riznick, and he is going to tell us about the field of engineering within commercial real estate. So Randy, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Trish. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
All right, pleasure is all mine. So let's talk about this. So you are an engineer in commercial real estate. Now, what does that mean, Randy?
Right. So let me caveat because the word engineer is used rather loosely out here in corporate America. I have learned. So I am not a licensed engineer per se. Like I am not the type of engineer that went and got a mechanical engineering degree or an electrical engineering degree and I actually design and draw. I come from the facilities engineering background, which is essentially you start off as a maintenance mechanic and you work your way up through the ranks of the building systems, learning all the building systems, how they operate, how to maintain them. So that's what I do, and I really have focused over the last few years on critical environments, which critical environments, most people relay that to data centers, but critical environments is any kind of environment that if it was impacted negatively, it would affect the business. So if you think about hospitals, right? If you have patients on life support equipment, that life support equipment is plugged into the critical emergency power systems of the hospital. So that way, if the hospital ever loses power, that life support equipment will not go offline. So there's a good example of critical environments and making sure that our equipment that supports that life support equipment is always in operation and it's always ready to go at a moment's notice when needed.
Wow, I would say that is critical.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear about this. And you know what? I'm sure our audience is excited as well. You hear the term engineer and you think, just as you so aptly explained, one kind of engineering, but there are many kinds, and another here in commercial real estate. So in critical environments here. So now let's talk about that. What did you study to become a critical environments engineer, Randy?
So I basically started off in the trades. As you can see behind me, you can see my military shadow box. So I served 23 years in the military. My job in the military was utilitiesman. So basically what I say with that is anything that flows in pipes. So I worked on air conditioning systems, water treatment, sewage treatment, plumbing, et cetera, et cetera. And then throughout my career, I also delved into emergency power backup systems, generators, technical security systems. I did 5 years with Department of State diplomatic security, where I went through 3 months of technical training to learn all about access control, cameras, vehicle barrier systems, all that fun stuff, right? So I started off in the trades, and then of course I did 23 years in the military. So as you move up in your position with the military, you move into management, right? So I started off in the trades. My first 10 years, I was in the trades, and then I moved into supervisory and management. And then to caveat my military background and to the rather aggressive approach of my wife, she said, "Hey, Randy, you know, it's awesome. You're going to be in the military and I'm with you for as long as you want to do the military. I'm with you. I don't care if it's 5 years, 20 years, but I am not going to let you get out of the military without getting a college degree. The military is paying for it. I don't want you to get out, serve 20 some years in the military and not have a degree. So I really want you to have a degree." So I would say I was brought up in the trades. I've come from a blue collar family. So nobody in my family really went to college. College was furthest from my mind until my wife entered the picture. And we all know how that goes when you have a great supportive wife, great supportive spouse, right? So I went for college and then I was like, okay, what am I going to do? What degree should I get? So overall, I ended up going to University of Maryland, Global Campus, formerly known as University of Maryland University College. It's an online college. They do a lot for the military because we deploy and we're always out. And I went for my environmental management degree. And the reason why is because I've always had an affinity for the environment and basically protecting the environment. I will say this, I am not, not to sound stereotypical or whatever, I'm not like a full-fledged tree hugger necessarily. Um, I
Nothing
have
wrong
my
if you
flaws.
are.
I have my flaws. I don't always recycle, really. I don't always recycle. I have my flaws, but I understand that humans have an impact on the environment, and we need those people in place to ensure that our human actions are not really grossly impacting our environment. And that's why I went for an environmental management degree. Really unbeknownst to me at the time, though, I didn't really realize that a lot of what I learned with my degree does correlate into sustainability initiatives that we deal with all the time in commercial real estate, energy savings, the gamut of commercial real estate and everything that's happening with sustainability. So the environmental management degree has actually come into play a little bit with my career. So
First, I'd love to say thank you so much for your service, Randy. We really wouldn't be where we are without people, men and women who put their lives on the line for this country. And so I just really want to say thank you. And then next, you brought up several things. One being, the experience. So without a college degree, you could go into, building management or engineering of the systems within a building within commercial real estate. And then while you're in that degree, or while you're in that training, on the job training, we'll call it, you could also go back and you can get a degree later on in life to be able to even move up into management of the buildings in commercial real estate. So you brought up a few very poignant points for our audience here so they could see what are some other ways they can get into commercial real estate. And lastly, you brought up sustainability, which we know that JLL as well as other companies are making their stand right now to say that by 2025, they have made certain commitments to help in the sustainability of our world and the way we use resources. And so your background actually helps, and your very involved and hands-on approach to what you do on a daily basis directly affects our environment. And so it's exciting for you to have taken your interests, your passions, and now align them with your day-to-day career. And so, Randy, tell me, what is your favorite part of what you do every day? And what does your day look like?
Well, what my day looks like, that could be that's kind of hard to pinpoint depending on what's happening. I'll save that for the latter.
Different every day, right?
Exactly. I mean, at any given time of the day or night, I can get that call that something went down, and it's all hands on deck to take care of business and get the system restored, right? But my favorite part of the job, I will say, and anybody who knows me or follows me on social media, they've heard me say this plenty of times. It's the continuation of service. So I really truly believe that all of us in commercial real estate, at the end of the day, what JLL does is 95%. It's service industry, if not 100%. We're in the service industry. We serve others. We serve others through providing that built environment for people to be productive, for people to perform their work in a comfortable environment. And then with the critical environments piece, it's even more so important, especially with COVID, right? I mean, everybody has now relied on technology more than any time ever before. And it's those of us that are kind of behind the scenes, if you will, making sure that these data centers are continuously up and running so people can have their virtual meetings with their teams. Executives can do what they need to do remotely, et cetera, et cetera. And that, it's just self-gratifying, I guess, if you will, knowing what my teams and I do day in and day out to ensure that others are able to do their jobs in a productive manner. So that's probably my favorite part of the job.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing with us, Randy. And would you give any advice to someone looking to get into engineering and commercial real estate on a path they might take, or a personality trait that they may look for within themselves that may help to guide them in a career in commercial real estate, specifically in engineering and facilities management?
For sure. So one of my leadership mantras, if you will, is ABL, always be learning. So I would say to be in this industry, things are changing all the time when it comes to these building systems. There's new air conditioning systems that are coming in. There's new ways of controlling systems. And then in a data center environment, kind of going back to the sustainability thing, we all know that data centers are commercial real estate in itself is a large consumer of energy. The data centers are becoming even more so. So there is a lot of emphasis being placed on electrical, cooling. How can we maintain these huge data centers with the power, the substantial power requirements, the substantial cooling requirements? How can we do that, but not really take away from the grid, if you will? So there's a lot happening in the data center world right now, trying to figure it all out. And there's all kinds of new systems coming online. So having that ABL mindset of always be learning, you're just always going to be, at the forefront, right? When I interview mechanics and facility engineers, that's one of the questions I ask. Tell me about the latest thing you learned new in your profession. Maybe a new type of air about the other day, a new type of power generation unit that you learned about. I just want to know that people are motivated to learn. So, and then typical day, I think typical day, really it's just, I always say this, anybody that works in facilities knows that nothing ever breaks at noon on a Monday. Things always break at the most inopportune time. So what I would tell people that want to get into this industry is that this is not a 9-to-5 job. It's just not a 9-to-5 job, especially at the technician level. My technicians are on call 24/7, and when things break, they have to respond. So you have to be willing to understand that. We talk about work-life balance. It's difficult, work-life balance, just having a 9-to-5 job. Now throw in it can be difficult, but it's doable. So.
That's a great point. So we've got the variability of being able to do something different and learn something different all the time. We've got the sustainability. We've got the ability to start this career without a college degree and earn that college degree later down the line when life permits doing so, or when a spouse pushes you to do it, or of your own accord to achieve your own ambitions. And finally, we've got, this may not be a 9-to-5 job. This requires you to be ready when the problems occur, and so that you can keep the building running and everyone comfortable within the facility. Thank you so much, Randy, for being with us today. It has been a pleasure, and I'm sure our audience feels your passion for education, leadership, and critical environments. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Trish.